Hello guys, welcome back and thank you so much for clicking to watch this video. It's Sandra here and I'm back with another Wednesday's Wahala, you guys. This is where I attempt to do a makeup look while talking about a real life DV situation. So last week, you guys, we talked about Osinachi. This is still hurting, okay? It's still hurting the African community. Like, a lot of people are hurt by this woman's demise. So we talked a little bit about it. Like I said in that video, I wasn't going to go too much into the stories because a gazillion people are talking about it on YouTube. But my main focus last week was on why women stay in DV relationships, right? And today again, we're going to talk a little bit more about it because today's story is a little bit like Osinachi's story, also where the lady involved stayed in a DV relationship until she lost her life. So if you have not watched Osinachi's video from last week, I'm going to link it in the description box, or you can go into my playlist and it's going to be there with several other videos that I'm pretty sure you're going to enjoy. So for today, we're going to be talking about Agnes Tirop. Okay, a lot of us do not know her. I didn't know her myself. And this is another person that got famous after her demise, even though she was doing big things. Okay, if you're into athletics, you're into sports, you will know Agnes Tirop. She used to be one of the biggest, the world champion in racing, right? She would do these 5,000 meter races, and she was a two-time bronze medalist from Kenya, and unfortunately she lost her life to DV. Now I'm going to go more into her story later on, but first let me introduce our palette for today. For today's look, I'm going to be playing with the Novena Volume 6 palette. Look at this beauty. Isn't this gorgeous? And it kind of matches my backdrop, right? Look at the whole stars vibe going on with it. So this is pretty much the packaging. I'm very, very attracted to the packaging, okay? If the packaging isn't good, I'm not going for the palette, all right? And I just got into the Novena groove. It's been out for forever, but I just got my hands to all 5 of the palettes that they had, and I recently just got this one. This one came out, I think, at the beginning of this month or probably the end of last month, and I got it as soon as it came out. This is what it looks like. This is gorgeous. You see it? Yeah, I love it, and I'm gonna have so much fun with this in the summer. So of course, I don't know what I'm going to be doing. I have an idea though. I've kind of thought of the colors that I want to play with. So we're going to play with this together. So let's do some makeup and talk about today's Wahala. Agnes Tirop was born into a humble family in Kenya. She was born in 1995, October 1995, and there's not a whole lot of information about Agnes. Most of the information that you'll find about her is of her achievements or her medals that she won and all of that. But her personal life, she kept very private. I found bits and pieces from like blogs and newspaper articles, interviews from people that were given just after her demise. So if I say anything in this story that is not right or it's wrong, I just plead that I don't intend to disrespect this woman, or I don't intend to say anything wrong about her. It's just what I found on the internet. Okay, so I read somewhere that she had 10 siblings and she was the first of 10, and because she made some money, okay, she made some money at a very young age from her running, because she started running at a pretty young age. She was able to assist her family with taking care of her siblings, okay, raising the other siblings and sending them to school. And she didn't only do that, but she also helped a lot of the kids in her community, because she was raised in a poor community in the village. So she would help a lot of those kids also with their education and school fees. Agnes was described as very disciplined, very polite. She was very, very calm. She wouldn't talk a lot, but also very friendly. The people around her described her as very friendly, very nice. She was quiet, but she knew exactly what she wanted. Agnes started competing at a very young age. Right when she was in secondary school, she started running and winning competitions in her country. But she didn't go national. She didn't go out of the country for competition until about 2015, when she was only 19 years old. And in that competition, she would go on and win the 5,000 meter race, where she became just the second youngest gold medalist in that category. And it is said that the last person that won that category was back in the 80s. The last time the person she beat, right, that person won back in 1985. Agnes will end up winning a bronze medal 2 times, in 2017 and 2019 at the Olympics. Okay, so this woman, she was like a beast. Okay, she could run for the entire Africa, and she did run for Africa. She was the pride of Kenya, the pride of Africa. Okay, in 2020 she came out the fourth position in the 5,000 meter race in the women's field. So that's how good this woman was. Agnes would go on to win medals right up to 2 weeks before her demise. Okay, like 2 weeks before she passed, she won another medal in Germany. So this woman was just doing the most. Okay, she was just the best at what she did. And like I said, she made not only her country, Kenya, proud, but she was the pride of Africa. And she was going to turn out to be the greatest in the world, okay, if care wasn't taken. At the tender age of 26, she was not even up to 26, 25, okay, because she was going to turn 26 right before she passed. So at 25, she was already doing all these great things. So because there's not a lot of information about Agnes's private life, it's not quite certain when she started dating her husband. And unfortunately, when she passed, her father claimed that he wasn't her husband, that he wasn't married to her. Because, of course, we know with our African tradition, if you have not done the traditional marriage, most times your parents don't even recognize you as being married. So apparently, it is said that they weren't officially married, like even the traditional part. So all of this came out after she had passed, because the father came out in an interview and said that he did not recognize her as her husband, that Agnes was living with this guy against their will. Now, it turns out Agnes's husband, Ibrahim Rotich, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, Ibrahim Rotich was way older than her. It is also said that he was her manager, okay? And he had eloped with her. The parents were in agreement, because first of all, this guy was way older than Agnes. Okay, he was 41 years old and Agnes was 25. Well, I'm not saying that age is a problem, but for me, in my opinion, sometimes there's other things that come into play. Okay, it's not only about the age, but so Agnes was living with this man, and once again, like in Osinachi's story, we see a man that is, well, it doesn't say if he was doing anything, but it's obvious that he was hiding behind the guise of being her husband and her manager so that he could manage her money and control her, right? Once again, we see the same situation here. So while this couple is living together, there were several incidents of DV where it is reported that even her family had to come down several times to intervene in the DV situation. And Agnes had actually reported to several people, and she complained to several people that she was being abused by her husband, and that she feared that he was going to delete her one day. She was scared of her life. She wasn't afraid to tell people. And again, I'm asking myself, why then did she stay? You know, as much as I don't want to digress, I want to give my opinion at the end, but there's just some questions that it's just hard for me to understand. Okay, so she would tell people how violent her husband was towards her and all the things that he did to her. She would complain to neighbors, and again, when it happened, her family would come over and try to fix things, try to mend things, and maybe convince her to stay. So it continued like that until it is reported that at some point she had left earlier, back in 2020, when she was getting ready to go for the Tokyo Olympics. Okay, she had left a little earlier so that she could, one, run away from her husband, because she had decided she was going to leave him. So she decided she was going to go early to the camp where they were training at. She would stay there, train, and then go for the Olympics, and then maybe have a cool head, and then think about her future, think about what she's going to do with this man and all of that. So she left, and she went for all the competitions, went for the Olympics, where she did great there, went to Germany, won some other medals. And it is also said that at some point, some of her family members convinced her to come back to her husband, convinced her to go back home so that they could work things out. So on the advice of friends and family, after the competition, Agnes decided to go back to her husband, I guess to work things out. But unfortunately, that will be the worst mistake of her life, because that will be the last time that anybody ever saw her. So in October, Agnes went back home, and it is believed that she was deleted on the 11th of October, because on that day, the neighbors reported hearing noises, like hearing some commotion from their house. Okay, and of course nobody went there to see what was going on. They heard the commotion and everything, but nobody moved. They didn't go. And then the next day, they didn't hear or see her. Okay, so one of the neighbors reported that she got concerned, and that she has always been concerned about this young woman, because she knows what's been going on in that house. She knows what the woman has been going through with her husband. So she said that she was concerned about her when she didn't hear from her. Now, it is also reported, I read another report that her sister, Agnes' sister, that lived with them in the house, also said that she heard some commotion in the room at night. And again, obviously, she too didn't go to find out what was going on. But she said that the following day she had asked Agnes's husband where Agnes was, and he had told her that she was okay. And he allegedly sent her to the market, sent Tirop's sister to the market to buy meat. And then later on, he called her and told her not to come home, that he and his wife had decided to travel out of town. So she thought that it was strange. Okay, like, this is where I live. How can you just call me and say not to come home? So said that she went to the parents and told them the story, what had happened, and that she hadn't heard from her sister since then. And that's when they got concerned. So that was on October 11th. All of that happened on the 11th. And they found her body on the 13th. She had been stabbed, and the autopsy revealed that it was due to the stab wounds that she passed. Okay. It's also reported that her husband had called his parents to report that he had done something really bad and that they should forgive him. So I guess that's when the police immediately started looking for the husband, because at that point he was on the run. He wasn't at the house anymore, so they had to look for him. And finally he was arrested at some point where he crashed his vehicle into a truck. They say lorry. When I read that report, he said a lorry. I haven't heard that word lorry in a long time. So he crashed into a truck, and that's how they were able to get him. So this man was finally arrested, but unfortunately it was already too late for Agnes, because her body again was found in her apartment, and she had been stabbed several times by this man. Now, after her demise, her family discovered that he had been changing her property. Like, he'd been switching out the names to his name, like converting all her property to his. Okay, and it's believed that he did that while she was out during the Olympics, while she was out there running her life out, trying to make money to take care of her siblings and other kids in the village and to help her community. This guy was there busy selling her property, because, like I said, she had left him at that time. She had already let him know that she was going to leave him. Okay, she left early for the training, so there was already some issues going on at that time. So he wasn't gonna go without a fight. Okay, he had started switching out her property, her cars, her lands, and everything. Okay, so here is another situation where the man is just out to exploit a woman for no good reason. Okay, I mean, one of the things that I mentioned in my last video, why some women stay in abusive relationships, is that they don't have the finances. Okay, they can't take care of themselves. Some of them stay for the children. Now I look at a situation like this one where she was well off. Okay, this woman was a bronze medalist. I don't know how much they get paid when they go out there to those events, but I'm pretty sure it was some decent money. Okay, you're young, you're 25 years old, you have all this money. What are you doing with this person who is, first of all, doesn't love you? Okay, because he can't love you and he's hitting on you. He doesn't love you. He's not taking care of you emotionally, financially, nothing. So why are you still there? Why? It just beats me. Okay, I don't know. it's something that it's hard to explain, it's hard to understand. And I keep saying that I don't know if I'm ever going to understand it. I don't know if I'm ever going to get it. So I guess for some of those questions, we might never be able to answer. We might never get an answer for them, because the only person that can really say why they stayed in that type of relationship is the person themselves. And at this point, they're gone. So who is going to answer that? Who's going to answer that question? But I want to give it to her, okay? At some point, she had had enough and she actually decided to run. But it says that her family and friends convinced her to go back. And that's one of the other things that we talked about in the other video, right? Family, traditions, culture, okay? That will make you stay in such relationships, make you stay in relationships that you have no business staying in. Why would they convince her to go back? Why would they ask this woman to go back to that kind of relationship? And I hope that the person who did that, the person who convinced her right now is filled of guilt. I hope guilty conscience is killing that person right now. Because why? And going back to the financial aspect again, at this point, one doesn't even know what to do anymore. One doesn't even know what to expect, because they say you want to be financially independent. You want to make your own money, You want to bring something to the table. And then this is the second time in a row where we are seeing that it is actually the woman that is making the money, bringing everything to the table, and the man is just there to exploit her. The man is just there to take everything that she worked for. So at this point, what do we do? Because if you work, they would delete you for your money. If you don't work, they'll say you're not bringing anything to the table. So what do we do? I need the motivational speakers to come and tell us what we should do now. Because at this point, honestly, I'm lost, okay? What happened to Agnes was a national tragedy. During her funeral, she was actually buried on October 23rd, which was her birthday. She was born on the 23rd and married. She was born on the 23rd and buried on the 23rd. And I also heard a report that she was also baptized on that day, on the 23rd. So I think that's a memorable day for her family, October 23rd. So it was so sad. Thousands of people came out for her funeral. And even the president of Kenya made a statement about her demise because, again, she was a national treasure, okay? She is one of the people that put Kenya on the map, including Obama, of course. Yeah, but she was the pride of the country and the pride of the continent, the African continent. Like this young, beautiful woman, just 20, couple of weeks shy to her 26th birthday. This is somebody that would have turned into like a world star. Again, like I said, most people don't even know her, because if you don't watch sports like me, I'm not into anything sports. So I wouldn't even know her. But those that were in the sports community that followed the Olympics and all of that, He must have seen her, and she would have turned out to be a very, very great name all over the world. Only for her life to be cut short by some useless old man. Okay, I'm going to call him a useless old man because, in my opinion, that's just what he was. You know, you take a small girl like that and just be maltreating her and exploiting her, and then when she wants to leave you, you will not just go you in peace. You want to take her with you, like, just selfish and stupid. So that's it for this video, guys. Another statistics. Another young, promising young woman lost to TB. And that's how we keep counting. We keep counting them every day. This one, it happened back in last year, 2021. It's not long ago. Osinachi's case was last week. And again, those are just two women that we know about their own situation because they were famous. Okay, Agnes was an athlete known all over the world, and Osinachi's music touched lives. Again, two women that their stories are out there because we knew about them as famous people, as celebrities. What about those ones in the villages? What about those ones that nobody talks about? Okay, their stories just die like that. The stories die and the men go free. I mean, with Agnes' own situation, I know that justice will be served because the president of the country is involved. Okay, he got involved and he stated that he wanted justice to be served. So that was before they even found out that it was her husband. But I know that he's going to make sure that justice is served for the girl. So here's my final look, you guys. Let me know what you think about this. I kind of struggle with this look a little bit, you guys. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. So it's one of those days, you know. Makeup is like every other thing that we do, like cooking. Some days you get it right, some days you don't. And today I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling the whole thing, but it is what it is. Let me know what you think about this look. Let me know what you think about our story for today. I hope that Agnes' family is able to deal with this great loss, and I pray for her soul. I hope that she rests in peace. And the goal of this series, Wednesday's Wahala, is just to make us aware of the importance of living DV relationships while we still can, because 9 out of 10 times it doesn't end well. Okay, it ends bad. So I feel like the more we stress about it, the more we give examples of what happened and we learn from others' mistakes, I'm hoping that it's going to get better and somebody's going to listen. All right, so thank you again for watching. If you are still watching up to this point, I adore you. Thank you so much. Please give this video a thumbs up if you like the content for today, and remember to subscribe if you have not already. Hit the notification bell so that you are notified every time that I post a new video. Show some love, take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.